Krakow, till the war started, used to be my playground. I went to school there, so I went as far as the 4th grade when the war started. That finished my education. First they started with armbands, then they confiscated your stuff, and gradually in 1940 they started moving the people of Jews to make Krakow Jews-free. And they had a ghetto on the other side of Krakow, Podgórze, so that's where we wound up. Now, we didn't have to go to the ghetto because, one thing, my father was born in Slovakia. So we were considered foreign subjects in Poland. But we didn't want to be the only Jews left in Krakow without a family when the rest of the family was in the ghetto. So I was bar mitzvahed in the ghetto. And it didn't take long after I was bar mitzvahed where the big action came. And our grandparents lived together with us in the same apartment in the ghetto. And they took them to Belzec. This was a death camp. Also in the end of 1942, they hung my 2 cousins. We got smuggled across the border to Slovakia, onto Hungary, where we wound up in an orphanage, in a Hungarian Jewish orphanage, but we claimed that we are not Jews. I'll tell you some other thing. My mother, we had neighbors who were Nazis, Hungarian Nazis. In fact, but they didn't know we were Jewish. He gave me a job. I worked for him in a steel factory. But we got friendly. My mother has to go shopping with them. She used to buy meat, non-kosher meat, so they wouldn't suspect us that we're Jews. And all she did is cut it up in pieces on the toilet. Yeah, well, that's what she had to do. For that time, we were Orthodox Jews. In fact, sometimes we had services in the house. It was very risky to do it, but there were 30 families like us hiding after Hitler occupied Hungary in Miskolc. We all knew each other, so we managed to have a chicken, a goose, and the Jewish holidays and stuff like that. The first bombardment came to Miskolc was American Air Force, 10 o'clock in the morning. They mistook the farmer's market for an army camp. And we were like, I would say maybe 300 yards away from that. We were in a corner house. The house cracked from the bombs, and we were in the basement there. But luckily, nothing happened to us. The Russian army occupied Hungary, and my father wanted to be thankful to them and so on, so he bought whiskey and gave it to some Russian soldiers. All of a sudden, like a few days later, a couple of officers came to our house and arrested my father, claiming that he gave to Russian soldiers poisoned whiskey. And he was taken away. He was jailed. But being that we had contacts there with Russian higher officers who were Jewish, in fact, so after 3 weeks they released them. It doesn't mean that the whiskey that my father gave him was poisoned, because they had wood alcohol. There was all over the place. And some of the soldiers were blinded and died, you know. So you cannot imagine what it looked like or felt like. You lived in a war zone. We went back to Krakow to search for survivors, for the family who survived. There was only 2 cousins who survived out of a family of 300. Yeah, we were very unique that our immediate family survived the war. Only because my father was born in Slovakia, but he lived all his life in Krakow. After the war ended, we wound up in Germany, in a DP camp. No place where to go. We couldn't go to Israel because it was occupied by England. America wouldn't let us in. Although we had papers, my father had a brother here and 2 sisters, they sent us papers. The border was closed. We couldn't go back to Poland because they would kill us. But I'm very Zionistic, and I have 2 sons and 6 grandchildren. My son lives in Israel, I have grandchildren there, and a great-grandson.